Welcome to Screams and Streams, the podcast that looks at the best and worst horror movies as rated on Rotten Tomatoes from 1970 onwards. I'm your host, Mike Carron, and with me is my co-host,
Chad Campbell.
And joining us today is our special guest,
Sam Schreiner.
Before we get to today's film, we'd like to invite you to check us out on Instagram. Our handle is @ScreamStreamPod. Also be sure to check out our website at www.screamsandstreams.com for more information about all the films we're looking at. Just a warning, in the podcast, we do jump around in the plot, and we may end up spoiling the film if you haven't had the chance to see it. If you don't like spoilers, we recommend that you stop listening now, check out the film, and then rejoin us after our discussion. Today, we are looking at Brian De Palma's 1976 film, Carrie. It scored 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, so let's get into it. Sam, can you give us the plot summary, please?
Carrie White, a shy, friendless teenage girl who is sheltered by her domineering religious mother, unleashes her telekinetic powers after being humiliated by her classmates at her senior prom.
I was looking at the other plot summaries when you said, like, which one do we want you to read? And I think that one's actually perfect because it does cover everything. The other ones were, like, too detailed or didn't mention the mother's religious fervor, which kind of key and central to the whole thing.
Definitely key.
Important.
All right, we're going to get into our first impressions. So, Chad, tell us what you thought.
My first impression, I had seen this movie before. I watched it in high school, and I watched it, I don't know, a few years ago over at a buddy's house, but wasn't really paying attention to it that time. So, going through, I picked up on some things that I had missed the first time I watched it. First impression, their volleyball skills suck. There's no proper setting or bumping. They're just slapping the ball all over the place. And everybody screws up on both sides of the team. And Carrie misses the last shot. And everybody loses their mind on her. But nobody is good on that team. They would all get developing.
Well, that's so funny that you said that because my first statement was, we open the movie with the most intense game of amateur volleyball I've ever seen. They treated Carrie like she single-handedly lost the World Cup.
Yes.
They were so mean
They just
to her.
lose their minds because she misses this one hit.
In high school PE.
Yeah. It wasn't even a real game.
Phys ed class, end of the period.
Just losing their minds. I think that's kind of the impression I had throughout the film, is that it's just so over the top reactions to what she does for Carrie. So she gets the blonde one, the actress's name is Nancy.
Chris?
She gets so mad at Carrie that she orchestrates this whole revenge thing because she got detention because she was a super bitch to her in the shower room. And she's like, okay, and now I hate Carrie.
Now we're going to go kill a pig. Yeah. Bludgeon it to death.
Set up this whole elaborate scheme just to get her back because I got detention. And if I don't go to detention, then I lose my prom. It's like, just go to detention. It's not that big a deal. So she does that. And then ultimately, I'm skipping we're going to address this later. She tries to run her down at the end of the film. It's just like, Jesus Christ, what is happening here?
By that time, she saw what Carrie was doing.
I would have ran.
I would have got out of Dodge. I would not be like, oh, there she is. She just sent a fire hose across the room with her mind. I'm totally going to run her down. She won't be able to do anything to me. Seriously, give your head a shake. So anyways, it was just such a strong reaction to what happened. And the fact that she had absolutely no friends. There was nobody in that school. Even the teachers were annoyed with her and didn't like her. The principal kept getting her name wrong.
That was so good.
Even when she corrected him 3 times, he's like, Cassie. Just, this guy's an idiot.
We have all worked with that person, though.
That is true, yeah. But it was just English teacher that, she just makes one comment, says, oh, the poem was beautiful. Oh, beautiful, eh? Oh, yeah.
I did not get where that came from.
He just loses it on her.
Yeah, he was so mean.
And she doesn't say any, you could tell she's just quiet and reserved. She doesn't say, obviously, anything in class. She says one thing, and instead of encouraging her to be part of the class, he just, oh, yeah, beautiful. That's not a criticism. You're wrong. Just it was very, just frustrating watching it. But that's my first impression. It was just really over the top for what had happened.
For me, I can't remember if I've actually seen this before or not. I've definitely seen a lot of the clips and the important major parts of the film.
Right.
But this is my first, I think, conscious sit down watch through of the film. And I think it's definitely of its time. So first impressions, I didn't really enjoy it. Parts of it I thought were well done. I'll talk more about this later, but it captured the bullying very well. But overall, it was, like you said, it was almost this hypersensitivity overreaction to everything that Carrie does. Mm-hmm. So then it becomes this almost unjustifiable response to a small problem.
Yeah.
And then I've seen the remake with Chloe Grace Moretz and Julianne Moore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And to be honest, I preferred that one. Just for the relationship between Carrie and her mother, I thought it was far more intense and uncomfortable. And there was a more, I don't know if the word is aggression, but going from that to Sissy Spacek and Piper Laurie just wasn't as good as what was done in the newer version. So I enjoyed it. I get why it was a classic at the time, why it got 93% of the time, but yeah, it just didn't do it for me.
Well, probably Julianne Moore's a better actress than Piper Laurie, right? So they were able to establish that relationship a little better. I can't speak to that because I didn't watch that film, the remake of it. Yeah. So I had read that it was just more of the same. So I just
it's a CW version of it, right? Like it very much reads like a CW film or the old Warner Brother ones, depending on your age. Or a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode of Carrie.
Don't look at me like that. I saw that side eye.
But yeah, I preferred it. It was more tense, more intense as well.
Okay.
Where's that one? Sam, how was it for you?
So I saw this movie when I was a teenager, quite a while ago. Like you said, I don't think I really watched it. I only really remember the opening scene and the final scene. I don't really remember anything that happened in between there. So it was nice to see it with fairly fresh eyes, kind of with that kind of, maybe it was my first time seeing it. I also hadn't seen the retelling of it or the remake as well, but I didn't really enjoy this movie as much as I thought I would. I didn't really get the hype for kind of the same type of things. It was okay.
One of my coworkers was telling me just last week that she just watched this with her daughter.
Oh.
And I was like, how's your... And she's like, yeah, my daughter loved it. I was like, how old was your daughter? She's like 13. And yeah, we can talk more about that. But I was just like, I don't get how anyone loves this movie, especially a younger person today. Like it just doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think it would capture an audience in this day and age.
Well, my daughter actually came down while I was watching the film and she saw a couple of the scenes, and I'll talk to that later on when we approach those scenes. But yeah, it was interesting to see her take, even though I didn't let her watch the whole thing, and she's 14.
Right.
You need to go upstairs. We'll talk about this after. But the little snippets that she did see, it actually intrigued her and she did want to watch it. She looked at it and was like, I think I could probably handle that one. And I was like, I don't know, let's wait a little while for that. But who knows, like I watched stuff when I was 14 that was worse than Carrie.
Oh, yeah. Me too. Absolutely. And I think the plot's pretty linear in this. Like it's really easy to follow as well.
I wonder if it has to do with the bullying, right? Because we still see that in schools. So maybe like someone at the age of 13, 14, you're watching the junior high drama, you're watching the bullying and the isolation. So maybe that's why it is identifiable at that point.
And I guess with the mean girl, like the whole idea that there's this mean girl, like we have movies about that. Another Mean Girls movie coming out soon, right? So I think that's relatable as well.
Now we're going to move into our Tropes Hall of Shame. And I'm going to be the one that kicks us off in this category. And the first one is the uncaring principal. Chad, you've already brought it up.
Right.
But it's just that, administrators in schools, especially if you're trying to really win over or win favor for teenage protagonists, it's got to be the staunchy, uncaring admin aren't helping.
Right.
But yeah, it was almost comical with the refusal to get the name right. Just like, oh, come on, Cassie.
It's Carrie. Right, Cassie.
And I understand they need to establish that she has telekinetic powers, but even the special effects of that, of the ashtray wobbling every time. It's okay, we get it. It's enough. Or I don't know. I just found it cheesy.
I did like the one in the shower scene where the light popped.
Yeah.
I thought that one was, even though the shower scene was stupid, that scene was good.
Yeah.
So I did like that section, but I agree about the ashtray. It seemed like they were trying to shoehorn something in. It's like, we got to get one more scene of her just realizing she has powers. So let's just throw this in here.
Right.
Plus smoking in the principal's office. Holy smokes.
And the other trope, I was actually happy to see it back. Creepy redheads, everyone.
No.
It's been a while. What was it? The first 2 or 3 films? It's like there's a redhead that's weird. There's a redhead that's weird. And it kind of disappeared for a while. So we've got Carrie and her mom, both redheads, both ostracized, both kooky.
Yeah.
Chad, what do you have for tropes?
My trope is like, and I don't think this is, just for this horror film. I think it's in a lot of movies. How teachers are portrayed in media is just horrible. The English teacher that attacks her because she made that comment. The gym teacher has some sympathy for Carrie, but she's still kind of, she slaps her. I mean, that is the most aggressive gym teacher I've ever seen.
I've seen a lot of aggressive gym teachers.
Like, geez, I've seen yelling, but not
slapping,
not outright slapping and
God,
shaking.
No.
Like, my Lord, the teacher abuse in this film is off the charts. Yeah, I just don't know why. Like in Spider-Man or in other films, like you get the joke that I'm gonna go to my room and look at my choices in life. It's always that teachers don't want to be there. They're not really loving their job. Like it's just the way teachers are portrayed in film. Unless you're, Michelle Pfeiffer or Hilary Swank and you're trying to win an Oscar, there are no victims in this classroom. I mean, unless it's cheesy, over the top, hey, I care, all that stuff. Like, there's no middle ground.
But even those movies, you have the one teacher who's saving everybody while the other staff are like, oh, I wouldn't worry about the kids in your classroom.
Right.
They're not worth your time.
Yeah, just get through the day.
Just get through the day.
Right? Yeah. So that's one of mine, just the way teachers are portrayed in all film and in this one. And then, of course, the ultra religious freak. Mm-hmm. I mean, that turns into a psycho. It's, seen that lots. Yeah. So that's the other one. Even though, she does play it creepy and it does go, off the chain a couple of times, but yeah, it's been done. In 76, maybe not as much, but we've done some podcasts that have a lot of religious
undertones.
Yes, going on, and so yeah, I just think it seems to be a common thread that hits in these horror films is like God and the devil, right?
Yeah,
those are my tropes.
Sam, what did you bring to the table?
Just one here. My trope was that the bullied girl or this ugly or this redheaded freak, according to Mike, just that the bullied girl is beautiful all along. We get this, she presents herself at prom. She's stunning. Her hair's done. She's beautiful. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, you look great. But she, overdone a little bit.
You just need to run a brush and put on a little makap and you're
your
normal.
Glasses off and you're beautiful, right?
And even the gym teacher said that you just need a good shade of lipstick. Yeah. And you're fine.
Did anyone tell her to smile more? I was waiting for that comment. Like, you just need to smile more, honey.
Yeah, just smile more and they'll like you.
Can I also say that in the prom, those corsages that some of those kids were wearing were obscenely huge. It was like a bouquet of flowers on their dress. I always wondered, was that a thing? Like, I know people at prom would give, it's always in all the films that they'd give them this like little corsage, but I had no idea that they were that big.
No, like I remember for graduation, I think, and a couple like dances when I was in high school, we would get corsages and stuff, but they were never like that. And they didn't have the giant ribbon in them and they're a little tacky. But
it's like a wedding centerpiece on your chest.
Here you go.
The 1999 grocery store bundle of flowers.
There you go.
This will work. Here you go.
I have 2 more tropes. This is one I think I've got to let it go on future episodes. But again, it's the looking something up in a book.
Oh, yeah.
But the reason I wrote this one down, not like I think it is something that like we're going to see it all the time. Stop pointing it out. But it's the book that was on the shelf when she was looking up the information about her telekinesis.
Yeah.
Because she went through the file card system and there was a series of titles that all related to telekinesis or mental powers.
Yep. I caught this. I know exactly what you're going to say.
But then there's the title of the book, Breed to Come.
Yep. I have that in my notes.
Oh.
And so right away, that title, I'm like, what does that have to do with it? Like, it's weirdly sexual. So I looked it up.
I was too scared to look it up.
I did. And it's disappointingly boring. No.
That's a bummer.
But it's a sci-fi novel, and it's a virus kills all the humans in it and then turns animals on the planet into highly intelligent life forms.
Oh.
Yeah, so it has nothing, like, I'm like, there must be a tie-in here, and I'm just wondering if it's like Stephen King said, hey, I have an author friend whose book I want featured. I don't know. Like, Carrie doesn't pause on it, like her hand just brushes past it.
Yeah,
but that title sticks out. But even at that time, there's no internet for these people to then, like, what was that book?
Yeah.
So they would have had to actively go to their library to be like,
I'm looking for a book called Breed to Come. The old librarian, the stereotypical librarian. It's like,
excuse
pardon me.
you got the title reversed, honey.
How about the Dewey Decimal System, though, right? Like, that's a flashback. That was one of the scenes that my daughter saw, and I was like, oh, the Dewey Decimal System. And she looked at me and was like, what is that? Yeah, fair enough. You wouldn't know what that is, right? And it's like, back in my day, we had...
I'm just saying I knew the Dewey Decimal.
In the olden times, we used to have to look things up.
Yeah, and we knew that the 800s were references or whatever.
Well, what's really interesting about that is when I first started teaching, teacher librarian said, yeah, your kids can help organize books because we were looking for volunteers to help put books back on the shelves. And she was like, but they need to know the Dewey Decimal System. And I was like, oh, and none of the students knew. So, yeah.
It's funny because I remember it was like, that was part of your intro when you started school, like in the first week. One day was a library day, and you went there and it's like, we're going to go, and this is how you use the Dewey Decimal System. And then they'd run you through it, and then you had to go find a book, and then you had to bring it back. And I was just, wow, just what a good way to kill time. What are we going to do this first week? We've already done the assembly. We've done
the little icebreakers. Now what?
Yeah.
And then my last trope, and I don't know if it's really a trope or doesn't hold up or what, but it's the women gossiping under the hair dryers in the hair salon.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there was such a nostalgic moment for me where I was like, I miss this, like those over the top, very noisy hair dryers.
Right.
You just don't see that anymore.
It reminds me of Goodfellas when they're all in there. And so I just told them, and they're doing their nails and they're having all they're painted up and all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Bring them back.
Perms are coming back, right? So
yeah.
A lot of my students have perms.
Yeah, I don't have hair, so I don't know what they do in salons now for that. What do they do, Sam? Do they still have the over the head?
Yep,
Oh, wow.
They do. Yeah. So usually it's for when you're getting hair dye or getting a perm. So
okay, we are moving on to one-liners. Sam, what do you have?
They're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you. Yep, those are my two to start out with. Yeah, so definitely those ones definitely stood out for me.
They're all going to laugh at you. It's so good. But again, we've talked about this with Exorcist and The Omen. This movie suffers from what's been parodied or made fun of. So the instant she's like, they're all going to laugh at you. All I could think of was the Adam Sandler skit from his CD.
Yeah. Same.
And actually, so I had forgotten that it replays in her mind during the prom and just over and over and over again. And so when she actually first says it, it's almost like a throwaway line, right? Because she's in the middle of a speech and Carrie's kind of justifying going and stuff to the prom, and she just said, "No, they're all going to laugh at you." And I even made a note that said, "I thought this was a bigger part of the movie. Like, I thought, how did Adam Sandler come up with a whole sketch on this?" And then the prom scene hit, and I was like, there it is. There it is.
I thought the same thing, and when I was looking it up, I was like, oh, she only says it once. And then it's like, oh, no, later.
Then it comes back. Yeah.
Chad, what do you have for lines?
So these ones, it's always the mom, I think. Her one line is like, she gets her prom dress, and she says, "Take off that dress, we'll burn it together and pray for forgiveness." Like, wow, that's you're gonna burn it and pray around it. I was like, that's pretty crazy. I had "they're all gonna laugh at you" as well. But then another one I had was in the same scene, "I can see your dirty pillows, everyone will. Breasts, mama. They're called breasts, and every woman has them." And I was just like, oh, God.
I had that one as well.
I had that one as well.
Dirty pillows.
Dirty pillows.
So the commentary track that I listened to, the woman, Alexandra Heller Nicholas, is like, welcome to the commentary track on Carrie, a celebration of Sissy Spacek's dirty pillows.
Nice.
So for me, I had a couple ones that I like just because of the humor that they added. My line is when Carrie's mother goes to Sue's house and the mother's there, and Carrie's mother trying to convert her or get her to talk about God and interested in the church. And she's like, these are godless times, Mrs. Snell.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, I'll drink to that. And I love that scene where it's like, I need to get rid of this woman. She's like, I'll donate $10 to your church. Like, can I just give you money and get you to go away?
Yeah. Here's $10.
And then the other one is from the mother as well. And it's, after the blood come the boys, grinning. I don't know why I'm reading it like it's Jaws.
After the blood come the boys.
Black eyes, doll's eyes.
Rolled around in there. Like sea chanty.
I don't know how to read it now. After the blood come the boys.
Not like that.
No, it doesn't.
They're all going to laugh at you. Grinning and slobbering. After the blood come the boys, grinning and slobbering and trying to find where that smell comes from.
Oh my God. I had totally.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Wow.
It was just like, oh. Sam, do you have other lines?
I just had one more. So Mrs. White goes, Carrie, you haven't touched your cake. And Carrie goes, it gives me pimples, Mama. And Mrs. White goes, pimples are the Lord's way of chastising you. It's like, oh, can you imagine? No, like, let's not talk about your acne. That's because of the Lord.
That's God's punishment.
Yeah. Yeah, so do better.
Chad, do you have others?
I just had one that I thought, the gym teacher again, just the bane of every teacher's existence, especially when I was growing up, was gum. Mm. Right. And so she just said, you too, Chris, and spit out that gum. Where will I put it, Miss Collins? You can choke on it for all I care. You just get it out of your mouth. I was like, wow.
Yeah, Miss Collins was all right in my book.
Yeah.
I had a love-hate with her.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, I guess I've never had separate gym classes. We were always co-ed. So the fact that she just had all girls, I'm not sure how big that high school was, but there was only 12 of them in there?
Yeah. Ideal class size, guys.
Yeah. It's like, wow.
Public education was well funded in the 70s.
That's right. Yeah. We get exactly 2 teams for volleyball, and there's no subs. We have all the space.
We're playing 5-on-5, 6-on-6 games all semester.
Yeah, there we go.
I had one more, and it's when the boys are out getting their tuxes. And again, this was just for the comedy of it. And Tommy's got his ruffly tux on, and he says to his friend, like, would you go out with me? Not with ruffles. That scene was completely unnecessary because it didn't further the plot in any way.
No.
And neither of those other 2 boys came back really in the film in any other significant moment. But I enjoyed that it was just like this vignette of high school life. And I gotta say it, I like Tommy. So it was kind of nice just to see him being a high school boy, not the overpopular jock or
right
like he's portrayed in the rest of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny because they make reference to it, but you never really see him. There's not scoring touchdowns, And
yeah,
but you never really see him do anything physical other than run in gym class.
No, even when they said he was going, I think he said he was going to state or something like that, or going to nationals. I was like, well, for what sport? Because he's not running really great. Like, it didn't look like he was. Yeah. But I was like, what sport is that?
Nobody runs great in this film.
No, no.
And they all look laughably bad in
every physical.
I know. Even when they're doing their detention stuff.
Their feet are going 1 centimeter off the ground.
Keep
up,
running.
Girls, knees up.
Yeah.
The push-ups.
They're in a clump.
Yeah.
It's this big clump. He's like, you have to keep running. And first of all, and that's another thing, I was looking at that, is like, you're going to do 50 minutes of this? This is all the exercises you're doing are like a warm-up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the detention didn't seem that bad.
No.
I've done a couple boot camps and stuff.
That's right.
And I'm like, this is fine.
That's framed just for De Palma because there is so many shots in that film where there's foreground, background, mise en scène or whatever you want to call it. Like Tommy in the classroom with Carrie in the background.
Right.
Mother in the front, Carrie in the back. So I think it was just they're clustered in a group. It's like, well, we can't have them spread out properly to get this effect of.
We got to get them all in the shot.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure. Yeah.
That's why there were only 12 of them.
That's right.
Like,
yeah.
we can only fit 12 in the shot. So squeeze
too
up,
many
guys.
in there.
Because De Palma's like, I got this compliment once. We need to do it a lot now.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of things that stuck out or didn't work in our eyes, let's move on to what doesn't hold up in the film. Chad, kick us off.
All right. Well, first of all, doesn't hold up. Travolta drinking and driving in the car. He's just
the beer all over his chin.
Yeah, he's
Oh, it was so
just
gross.
a sloppy drinker. And
God.
if he got pulled over and the guy asked him anything, it must just reek in that car. He throws it down when he sees the cop, and it just spills all over the place. And she calls him a dumb shit, and then they get in an argument. And like it's so yeah, the drinking and driving in that first scene, I was like, well, that doesn't age well. That's what I had for my first one.
Do you have another?
I do. I have the whole domestic abuse with those two. Like, he calls him a dumb shit, and he smacks her.
There's a lot of slapping and smacking in this movie. There's a lot.
Slapping.
Yeah.
I just thought, yeah, like, don't call me that. And then he slaps her again later on. There's a lot of abuse in this film, and she's verbally abusive to him, and he's physically abusive to her. And it's just, as I was watching, it's like, why are you two together? This doesn't make any sense.
I had that entire scene as it doesn't hold up. I just put Travolta driving, the drinking of the beer, staring at Chris's chest multiple times, slapping her, and then like the very date rapey vibes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he goes in for a kiss, she pushes him away, and then she's like smiling and stuff. And then so he goes in again, and then she pushes him away, and then he gets mad, and then it's weird.
Yeah.
It really doesn't hold up.
That was one of mine as well. Yeah.
I'm going to do a couple of mine. And I think we're going to talk about this one. I think we all have something to say. The locker room scene at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
We all have thoughts.
Just what a weird way to open a high school movie. The soft focus, the steam.
Yeah.
And it really made me go back to like all these other high school comedies that were big, like American Pie, Can't Hardly Wait.
Porky's.
Like you have this nudity for titillation of the audience. And it didn't register me when I was watching those other comedies that these are adults portraying high school kids. But then watching this movie, I was just like very creeped out.
Yeah.
It's so wrong. And I just said, like, in my note was, it's like a hetero teenage boys fantasy. Like, what happens in girls' locker rooms? Well, they run around naked or half dressed, whipping each other with towels and play fighting.
Yeah.
Okay, I can say I've been in many change rooms in my life, and that is so far from what it's actually like. We're like hunched, or at least especially in high school, in the high school change rooms, you'd be like hunched over in the corner, like putting on a sweater and then taking the shirt off from underneath. Like you're not fully nude in your high school change room. It's mortifying. Yeah.
I had the exact same comment. I was just watching it and was just, these are supposed to be high school girls. And then she's in the shower. When she gets her period, she's the only one in that shower. It just seemed like it was trying to be way too sexual, too sensual for a high school scene. And it's like, this girl is supposed to be what? She's graduating, so 17, maybe 18?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're watching her shower, and all these other girls who are supposed to be her same age are like running around and frolicking in the
like slow motion frolicking.
Yes, this is so much fun. It's like, really? Is changing that much fun?
It's not.
Usually
not for me.
Usually you're just like, I want to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
and just imagine too, like imagine like even in a guy's change room, you're sitting there, you're changing, and there's someone soaping themselves like that in the corner. You're like I was kind of like, no wonder she's being bullied a little bit. Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's like the old men at the pool that bring a washcloth and stay there for, they have their full daily shower, and then they walk around just in their flip-flops and don't towel up. Towel up. I don't understand why we just like swing around. Nobody wants to see it.
Just put it away.
Just tuck it away. Nobody needs that in their life.
My second doesn't hold up, still sticks with the locker room, and it's the gym teacher's office having windows into the change room.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
So weird.
That would never fly.
Oh, no.
At all.
And also it took her an alarmingly long time to get to enter the change room. Yeah. So like she's just sitting there, I'm assuming doing attendance, doing something on paper because it's the 70s. And then all of this is going on and and even when she goes in, there's no control of the situation.
No.
They're still going on and doing it. And she's like, stop guys, like stop, we have to stop. And then there's no control. Yeah. Nothing happens. Nothing changes when she enters the room, despite the fact that she slaps teenagers.
Oh, well, that's it. She comes in there loaded for bear. Like, she just comes in there slapping and shaking people. It's like, stop it. It was like, wow.
She's a lot.
Yeah, when she started grabbing students, it was just like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. Especially when they're naked in the change room, especially then.
Mid-costume change. Sam, did you have another doesn't hold up?
I just like the style of bullying for high schoolers as well. Like there's a little kid on the bike who goes and circles Carrie, and I can't remember exactly what he says. Creepy Carrie. Oh, yeah. Like, and just like the way that you're bullying. I know bullying obviously still exists. It's huge in high schools and junior highs right now, and it's mostly more so on social media. But I know a lot of students that if they saw that, they would shut that down right away, right? And the fact that like the teachers are kind of doing it too, right? It's this whole.
Well, doesn't the gym teacher say like, I'm annoyed with Carrie or something like that?
I wanted to shake her too.
Yeah.
That's what she said. She's like, I wanted to join in. Like, it's like, really? You wanted to
plug it up? Like what?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Because she doesn't know what's going on. Like, and I don't know. She seems kind of old to be getting her first period.
17?
Yeah, I would say and I know it's like younger now, I think, but yeah, it's pretty old, right? Yeah. So we could talk about how maybe there's a lack of sex education in schools, or maybe they opted out. So, but yeah.
Well, definitely her mom would have had her opt out of that
100%.
Class. So yeah, and then doesn't talk about it until she says, then come the boys. And she's slapping her with that book too. She's like, read it, and hitting her in the face. I was just like, give her a minute.
What is it? Intercourse is the first sin?
Yeah, I think so.
Then she talks about, Eve, and she gets the Bible verse wrong. Like, she talks about Eve and the blood of Cain and da-da-da.
Yeah, Eve was the first sinner or something like that, yeah.
Exodus 3:16. So I looked up Exodus 3:16, and it's like Mom was not quoting the Bible at that point. So,
well, she's not even using the Bible when she's hitting Carrie in the face. She's got some other random book.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's the Watchtower or whatever. I don't know what it is, but
just another text, but not the official.
Yeah.
Chad, do you have other doesn't hold ups?
Well, we've kind of touched on teacher-student abuse I had, the domestic abuse, I'd say, at that time everybody smoked. So my big thing was like, she's smoking in the principal's office. Like, you'd go to the staff room or you'd go to a spot. I know before I went into high school, I know they had smoking in the staff room at the high school that I was supposed to attend, and you'd open the doors and the smoke would billow out.
Yeah.
And then they made teachers go smoke outside. But yeah, just smoking in
this probably isn't good for the children.
Yeah. Just smoking in the building.
It's a good way to build relationships.
Yeah.
I smoke, they smoke, we smoke together. I'm connecting with the children.
After abusing them physically and emotionally.
Those were my big ones.
For me, one thing that really made me disengage with the film was the soft focus.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's used well in the dream sequence at the end because it is a dream sequence, but there's so many things where I don't know if he's trying to create like this sense of like idyllic life or what, but just the soft focus so many times. And I don't know if it was the restoration of the film or what, but it felt too daytime soap opera-y or something. It just didn't fit the tone that he was going for. If you're going to do a horror movie, soft focus isn't the way to build tension or anxiety in your audience.
Right.
We're now going to move on to our most gratuitous scenes, and I'm going to start us off. My first gratuitous scene is in the locker room, and it's when Carrie's discovered that she's had her first period, and she's going through and she's touching everyone with her bloody hand. And it's just like no wonder they're like, get away from us, this is disgusting. Like, I wouldn't be supportive of someone coming at me with blood on their hand and like reaching out to touch
holding it out. The way she walked and the way she moved in that scene reminded me of the old lady in The Shining.
Yes.
Where she just kind of holds her hands out and is like, and she's, help me. I'm like, oh, wow. It's super creepy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. If I was walking down the street and someone came towards me, dressed or undressed, with a bloody hand saying, help me, I'd be like, yeah, but stand 10 feet away. I'll call someone. Yeah.
Please back away. Maybe that's something that didn't stand up.
No. Sam, do you have one?
Definitely the shower scene. I think like the whole change room scene I think was super over the top. We've discussed that already. And then the laughing scene when she's on the stage and they're laughing.
I had that too.
And I know it's intentional, but it went on forever.
So long.
And we're
So
like, we
long.
get it. We get it. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of that was also Carrie seeing what was happening. Because I don't think, like, she sees Miss Collins laughing at her. And I don't think Miss Collins at that point would laugh at her when she has the blood soaked on her. But but that's what Carrie imagines. And then Carrie kills her with the backboard of the basketball net. But again, it was still overdone. Like, we get it. Carrie's gone psycho.
Yeah, and I know it's kind of her portrayal or like what she's perceiving to be happening as well. But it's a lot, right?
Yeah. My gratuitous scene was the pig slaughter. Them sneaking into the pigs with a sledgehammer and just bringing it up and killing pigs for this joke. Like, I don't know anybody that would. These kids are messed up.
Yeah.
Like, to go in there and slaughter the animal, and then you would have to, slit its throat or however, and get a bucket of blood.
Well, they have a jerry can of it at first.
Yeah.
So they had to have a siphon, like a funnel. Like, they were well prepared.
Yeah, this is like a very elaborate little scheme. And then they go in there and they take a jackhammer. I know when we talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's how they used to kill the animals. But yeah, it was just like, really? Okay.
I actually thought it would be bloodier, to be honest. Like when he goes in and he's got the sledgehammer and then he starts swinging, I was surprised that not surprised, but he swings 3 times and then it just cuts. I thought there'd be blood splatter or we'd hear screeing of the pig or something.
But I think if they were to do that today, there would be.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they had to dial it back for the rating they got.
Yeah.
Right? It's rated R, but really I think by today's standards, it's probably 14A.
Right.
Because there's not an awful lot of blood in the movie, except for the pig blood that falls on her and, the stabbing at the end.
Right.
I also had that scene originally, but I actually took it off because I appreciated that they just cut it. Because it was kind of like the movie's just going on. Everything's like horrible for Carrie, obviously, but they're just kind of going around through their days. And then all of a sudden they're slaughtering a pig. Yeah. So the fact that they were able to cut it, I kind of appreciated. So I actually took it off for this section.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't write this one down, but talk about it now. I did like when they were first walking along the wall.
With the mural?
And it's the tight shot of the mural, and it almost looks like this is the worst special effect ever. Like, could they not afford to film this by a field? So you're just like...
So I thought it was. I was like, is that like a green screen? I don't know a lot about how green screens work, but I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like,
and then it slowly pulls back, and it's like, and it's still, like, the effect still works well, where the wall and the background move different. So it is this 3D effect of walking through a pasture.
Yeah.
Do you have another gratuitous?
Well, I also had the laughing at Carrie. I just thought it went on very, very long. And so I think they could have tightened that up a bit. I know she's snapping and everything, but it just went on forever. And I remember I think I wrote a note that's like, come on, get to it. Yeah. And then I mentioned this earlier, them trying to run her down at the end.
Yeah.
When she sees her, she's seen everything that's happened in the gym. First of all, I didn't understand how they got out. Did I miss something? Did they run out at the beginning or?
At the very beginning, when the laughing is happening, they're moving out of the room. And just when Carrie starts to slam the door shut, you do see Chris and John Travolta's character get through the door.
Oh, okay.
And then the door slams shut.
So I missed that then.
Yeah.
I don't know, looking elsewhere, I guess. But yeah, they get out, but then they wouldn't have seen all the craziness that happened.
Well, they then, for whatever reason, go outside and up onto what have been the roof of the first floor to look in.
How did they get up there?
That's right.
They're looking in the gym window from up above.
I do remember that. Yeah, and then they're watching it as it's all happening. Yeah. So why would you do that?
Yeah,
why wouldn't you just leave?
Let's get out of Dodge, but stay and watch for a bit to make sure we really need to leave.
Okay, now we're going to run her down with our car, even though we see her doing all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to... And the explosion, come on. Like, she flips the car over. I could see them getting, like, thrown free from the car and getting killed. But that's very, like...
That's a trope right there.
Yeah. The Simpsons... where the car like taps a fire hydrant and blows up. The thing just blew up.
My scenes both have to do with the prom, and in the commentary they talk about this shot and how great it is and how well done it was, but the spinning during the dance where Tommy and Carrie are dancing and spinning, like, I don't know, counterclockwise, but then the camera's going around clockwise for the entire dance.
They had to put them on like a little spinning wheel or something. Like they actually had to spin them this way while the cameras went around the other way. And
And I don't get it. Like, was it something from Italian cinema that De Palma was trying to do? Because they talked about the crane shot and how that's very reminiscent of Giallo films, I guess, and Argento specific. But then I was like, the spinning it was too much. And maybe they were just going for like unsettling the audience. Because if you're in a theater seeing that, you would get motion sick. So I don't know, but it was overdone.
They also used something that you brought up before. They again hit the soft focus. They did that, and then that music that they were playing in the background was
so cheesy.
I was watching them dance. I was just like, oh man.
The title is "I Never Dreamed Someone Like You Could Love Someone Like Me."
Ah, there you go.
In case you didn't know what was going through Carrie's mind at the time, that song was on point. And then the other one from the dance that drove me nuts, where it's just like, it's almost like the laughing. It's like, oh my God, we don't need it this long. It's Sue goes to the side of the stage. She's leaning. And even up to that point, you don't know if her and Tommy are in on it. And then that's when you realize, like, no, Sue and Tommy are actually just doing this to be nice to Carrie.
I know. They were trying to be nice.
Super happy to see this happen. But then she feels the rope tug.
Yeah.
And then she slowly looks up and she sees the bucket of blood. And then she sees the rope. And then the bucket of blood. And then the rope. And then the bucket. And it's like, we get it. It took her so long to figure it out.
Yeah, I had that as well. And then I was like, why doesn't she just reach out and hold the rope? Like, why doesn't she just put her hand and put some pressure on it?
I see what's happening.
Yeah.
Or run on stage and move Carrie.
Or say something.
But no, instead she runs up and looks between the stairs, and then Miss Collins is like, no, you can't be there.
Yeah.
You don't have a date to prom to get out? Like, we're dealing with that right now?
She did attention. She had a ticket. She should have gone. But isn't there a comment where they said you had to have a date to go?
Yeah, because that's why they're like, oh, that means you can't go because that's your date.
What a
dumb.
Yeah, you have to be popular and have someone like you in order to go.
Absolutely have to have a date. Yeah.
So yeah, that bothered me. And then I just have this comment like, what's with the English teacher staring at the PE teacher? Just in that same scene as well, before the blood drops, Cheswick from Cuckoo's Nest is just like leaning to the, I don't know why I'm doing the gesture. Nobody can see me but you two. But he's like head lean.
I appreciate it.
It's a great lean.
He's head leaned to the right and he's just staring up at her. And like, she looks over at him and smiles and he doesn't break the stare.
Yeah.
And it just,
long stare.
So weird.
I wonder if there was a scene where they, that they cut where it shows a relationship between those two or something. But that guy's a creeper. That's just it. He's just a super shitty teacher.
That's what I had. Sam, did you have another gratuitous?
I think the only one with that same scene is just the dripping of the blood after the bucket pours out. I actually really liked the swinging bucket and that sound. I really liked that, but the dripping was kind of a lot. I was like, oh, this is kind of irritating. But
Chad, did you have another?
Not really, but I just when you were talking about how the song was on point, I know Wham wasn't out yet, but as Carrie was leaving, they could have had "I'm Never Gonna Dance Again." Guilty feet have got no rhythm. She just leaves the prom with this in the background, the flames going up.
That would have been good.
We'll do a rewrite.
Thank you for joining us for part 1 of our discussion of Brian De Palma's Carrie. Join us next week for part 2, where we will finish off the categories and discuss the bonus features and the research that we did in order to discuss the film with you today.